Hi guys, it's reaction time. Kev's here. All right, how you doing?
My annual visit.
Of course. So it's not just reaction, it's track by track. So today, the mighty Alter Bridge bring out Pawns and Kings, and track by track reaction. So obviously I've done the 4 singles. Let's have a conversation about that first. So 4 singles released. I sort of get why it happens. What do you think about 4 singles?
Yeah, so I was saying to you this morning, when the album's only 10 tracks, so you've pretty much heard half of it already, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, really, because I said to you, didn't I hope those 4 songs aren't the best songs on the album. We're about to find that out.
It is a new. I think it's a common thing now. There's very rarely you get a band releasing, less than 3. I've known there to be some that have released 2, but not often. Usually you're talking 3, 4, sometimes 5 songs. And I think it's all about gaining momentum up to the selling of the album, different than it used to be apparently. So because apparently they sell. And that's it. It goes dead. So whatever Alter Bridge sell of this album in the next month is probably going to be it. Where like when I was younger, the momentum used to carry on sometimes 1-2 years after the album was released, and they would sell and sell and sell. It's different now, isn't it? So I think that's the whole reason. But it has given us a taste of what we're going to get, and I think both of us. We do. Let's just get one thing clear. We're massive Alter Bridge fans, and Alter Bridge are probably the band that we talk about mostly.
Yeah,
out of any band that we both like, Alter Bridge are the band. So, what do you think so far? Because I've done my reaction. So
yeah. So I'll be honest. When I first listened to Pawns and Kings, I wasn't overly attached to it. Like to begin with, I think it's only when they released the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So Silver Tongue, Sin After Sin, and This Is War.
Yeah.
For me, they kind of gradually got better, and then I've also gone back to Pawns and Kings.
Yeah.
And I can quite easily just play those, and have been playing those 4 songs and just listening to those, and really good. I like them, all of them. I like all 4 of them.
We can't help comparing. That's what these fucking shows are all about, aren't they? So compared to not other bands, but compared to, obviously they've got enough material now that we can compare to. It's his 7th album.
Yeah.
7th studio album. So what do you think compared to the other 6? And I think we sort of along the same lines of this.
Yeah. So I think, like you said, the first, I actually, it was only really the last album that I felt I didn't attach to, if that's the right word. Like for me, it just wasn't, like you've said before, it wasn't a bad album. It's just in comparison to their others, it wasn't quite on that level. There's probably 2 or 3 songs on the album that I really like, but the others I'm kind of take it or leave it. But not because they're bad songs, it's just in comparison to the back catalogue of material that they've got, which is all,
I think I said before, a bad Alter Bridge song, or you could, like I said, not a bad song, but a bad one from them is some band's best song. So they're that good. They are that good, and you can't help comparing to past. We always do. We just, is it as good as the classic? People say, I mean, AB3 is my favourite album. I think yours is Blackbird, is it?
I find it very difficult to pick a favourite album, actually, because I think there's so many good songs on so many of them albums. It's difficult for me to. Yeah. I know we did our favourite tracks, but if I did that again, it'd probably be totally different, to be honest.
Yeah, it does switch around for sure. Yeah. But those, I'm with you. The first 4 are just. It was one album after the other at that point, and then for me it dipped a little bit after that. But saying that, I'm pretty impressed with the first 4 songs. Yeah. So we have heard 4 out of the 10 songs so far. This was being released on Napalm Records, so produced again by Elvis Baskette.
Yeah,
a lot of controversy there.
Yeah,
about is he good enough to be the Alter Bridge producer? I think the sound of this album sounds better than what we've heard in the last couple.
Yeah.
For me. Considering how long's he been with them? Because like the Fortress production was huge. It sounded fucking, and I think after that it started to, I don't know, it was a change for me.
Yeah. So I think it's important to say,
Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago. So the last Tremonti album, which the first time I listened to it,
Marching in Time.
I was totally blown away by it.
Yeah.
Like, and I couldn't stop listening to it like all the time. And I went to see him a few months ago now.
Yeah.
Hammersmith, I think it was. And honestly, it was just, I've seen him a few times, but it was just so good that I remember when I got back, I called Lee and I said, I think I prefer Tremonti to Alter Bridge at the moment.
Ain't a bad thing to say.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the truth, isn't it? You know, and by the way, we're not,
However,
we don't want like Tremonti to get rid of Miles and be the lead singer or anything like that.
No.
Alter Bridge are fucking excellent as they are.
I feel though, listening to these 4 songs, that they've like sort of gonna take the mantle back. And make me eat my words a little bit.
Good. Well, I'm glad about that. We all want our favourite bands to be our fucking favourite bands forever, don't we? So that's the way it is. So, Dead Among the Living. So, if we go through the track listing, This Is War is first. I know Kev wasn't on the track by track, before. I didn't even know it was going to be a track by track at some points. But This Is War has been done already. Second track, Dead Among the Living. You ready for this shit?
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Here we go. Well, it's sort of hard. I know, first time reactions, isn't it? Like you said, some things come with time, if you like.
Yeah.
For me, this one's pretty instant.
Yeah, I was about to say that got off to a flyer, actually, for me.
I'll tell you what this reminds me of, and I know we have to compare, but the way it kicks in, the heaviness, it really reminds me, and it's not the same song structure or anything like that, but it almost gives me the heaviness of Father from the Sun, that sort of, you know, when it really fucking kicks in, that song.
Yeah.
And even the way it sort of dies down in the choruses and then comes in fucking heavy. So yeah, I love the start of it. It was a quick build up. It was typical Alter Bridge, really.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the way it's straight into that heavy, punchy riff, and then all of a sudden when he starts singing, it kind of uplifts it straight away, and it's like,
I think Miles is singing now a little bit. He doesn't stretch himself as much, and he wouldn't, because like we was talking earlier on. How old is he now?
Yeah, he's in his 50s, isn't he?
Do you know what I mean? And it's fucking obvious that you ain't going to carry on. But I mean, if you think about other singers that have hit a stage of like fucking anything over 30, and where they've been singing for a few years, they start to struggle. He sounds amazing, obviously, and live as well.
Yeah,
you know, it's just an amazing singer. But I think in general, I think it's a good thing. He sort of seems to tone back a little bit now, because he realises that he wants to do this live. What's the point of screaming all the way through it and maybe not being able to do it live? So I think that's a good thing, knowing your limits.
Know your limits.
Yeah. So, but it's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
It's instant. It's so Alter Bridge, unmistakable Alter Bridge, isn't it? You know what I mean? I like the way they sort of, like I say, I think you're right. They sort of die down in a chorus, and then, even though they do it quite a lot, and then they hit you with the second part of, the verses. I mean, when he's coming in with the verses, and then they add the guitar, and it makes the second part heavier. I like it when they do that. I like, even though I ain't instantly hooked on the chorus, I like the feel of it. Like I've got a stomp to it.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty
hands
sore.
tapping away.
Oh yeah. I mean, an excellent second song. I think, you know, in the scheme of things, second songs need to be heavy. You know, if they went into a ballad after, it would be a bit weird.
Yeah, wouldn't quite work.
But no, I like the sound of it. I think they're carrying on with that stripped back sound more that we both sort of wanted a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted to hear. I'm hearing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So I'm glad you're here, actually. So we can. If one of us, sometimes I forget when I'm on my own reacting. Sometimes I forget to listen intently to the guitar solos. So if I forget, maybe you'll listen.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we done 2 verses, 2 choruses, basically. A verse, bridge to chorus, choruses. So probably coming up to that time now, aren't we? They don't always do solos now either, do they?
Not always, no. Sometimes little bits sort of scattered through a song.
Or tags on the end, which is good, because there's they don't always follow the routine. A little bit of a weird odd time signature there, where you notice they do that quite clever. It's their progressive side, I suppose, where they do something a little bit out of the groove slightly, but
cool. There was a bit where I thought the guitar was going to kick straight back in, and I went like that, I think. But it didn't.
But that's what they're all about.
That's what happens on a reaction, I suppose, when you've not heard it before. So
I'm glad they're not, because we probably wouldn't be sitting here if they were a progressive metal band, because we probably both wouldn't like them as much as we do. They just add those little touches. Do you know what I mean? Very clever. Right, you ready for the rest?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're coming home.
Fucking hell.
I'll tell you what they do as well on this album. It seems like the songs we've heard so far, the second half,
I was about to say the second half was better than the first.
that breakdown
Yeah.
was like mental, wasn't it?
When it slowed down there and I went, ooh, like that, it sounded, not in a bad way,
Yeah.
it sounded exactly the same as one of their other songs, and I can't quite,
I know what you mean.
I can't think about what one it
yeah,
was.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, because obviously it's a totally different song, but it gives it that little... And that,
The feels of what you've
yeah,
heard
and those
before.
guitar riffs are like...
Yeah.
It sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just that little bit at the end, there was about 20 seconds at the end there, it was like,
Yeah.
we've burnt your face off, we're just going to...
Yeah. Tiny little solo there. I was trying to, wasn't it? Not too much, but you know, we know what they can do guitar wise. It's just fucking mental. But
I love
it
that.
ain't, yeah, it's good. It was good. And I think the chorus as well in the end.
Yeah.
Dead among the living. It sort of got you by the end. Do you know what I mean? I think the first couple of choruses that came on, I was like, it didn't grab me, but that ain't a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because songs do that sometimes, don't they? They get you after a while.
And just for me as well, the drumming, you can hear,
Yeah.
like you can hear every single.
Yeah.
I think you've said this in the past, haven't you, about production and stuff like that. There was,
Yeah.
you couldn't always hear it properly, but
Nah, it's almost like the snare drum, which is the main drum, was not loud enough. And I think he's done a better job. I still think that he's marching in time. Do you know what I mean? I know it's a different band. And obviously Tremonti might say, you know, I want it heavier because that's a heavier band. But I still think that production is just like one of the best I've ever heard. And it's weird, isn't it? That you know, but there's so much more going on in Alter Bridge, isn't there?
yeah,
You know, there is in Tremonti's very stripped back in it. It's guitar, bass, drums. Do you know what I mean? And they just fucking full throttle. Where Alter Bridge is a lot more, you know, they're a different band. They're a lot more bombastic, which is, you know, progressive, and you know they are.
Yeah.
They sound big, like they've. It sounds like there's about 8 of them in the band. Or something like that. But, no, very cool indeed. Loved it.
Yeah.
Heavy. So the next song, track 3 is Silver Tongue. The next one is Sin After Sin. So the next track we're going to do is Stay. So what's your feelings? What Stay is going to be then? A ballad?
I don't know. I've not done any research on the album or anything to that degree. But
We're going to find out. So next one.
could be.
What do you think of this second song, Dead Among the Living? We loved it, didn't we?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So we got, I mean, that's heaviness. If you actually look at the track listing, we've got This Is War, that one, Dead Among the Living, Silver Tongue, Sin After Sin. It's been pretty relentless so far. So perhaps Stay will be a ballad, but we'll find out next, guys. Let us know what you think of this song in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.